taking a look at the balance beam. And Megan Burke vaulting for the Bulldogs. Just front handspring vaults. Handspring to 1.5 twist dismount off the balance beam. And taking a look at your upper left-hand box, Sydney Beers on bars for the Big Red. Sydney's going to open with a Tchaikev. Oh, and she missed the bar on that. She normally doesn't miss. And in your upper right-hand box, the anchor spot on the vault for Yale Bulldogs, Lily Akon. Let's watch Lily's vault in your upper right-hand box. Another Yurchenko layout full, although her knees did bend. We'll have to see if that's a tuck position or a laid out position. And then also a pretty large step on her landing. Taking a look at balance beam, that was a gorgeous front toss through a beat jump. And on floor, it looks like we have a judge's deliberation, which if the judges don't come in a certain range from the scores, they must deliberate and come to an understanding to be within a certain range. The judges' scores are then average, and then that's what we see as the final score. But until they're within range, they must meet and discuss where the major deductions were and kind of come to an agreeing there. So that's what we're seeing on the floor exercise. But it looks like they have settled. So we should be seeing Liza Marcus up next on floor for the for Bruno, for the Brown. Very powerful dance on floor. She's very precise and deliberate with her movements. Her opening pass. It's going to be a round off, double back and tuck position. And mounting the bars is Morgan Shambo for the Big Red. Morgan's going to start with a blind change into a Jaeger. Oh, and she misses the catch also. That will be 2 falls for the Big Red. So that means they'll have to count a fall in their team score. Take a look at the balance beam in your bottom right corner, setting up her flight series. Back handspring step out to layout step out. Nicely done. Nice full turn. Great jump combination. And Morgan Shambo finishing her bar routine with a layout double layout. And a round off 1.5 twist with a stuck landing. That was Mimi Fletcher on the balance beam for the University of Pennsylvania. Yale has finished their vault rotation. They have an unofficial team score of 48.125. Their high score of the rotation came from Lauren Burt with a 9.725. And it looks like we have another deliberation on the floor exercise. Cornell has finished their rotation on bars, although we are waiting on the score still for Morgan Shambo. And Samantha Wu just got the salute from the judges. She's in your lower left-hand box on the floor exercise for for Brown University. She's going to start with a wow, incredibly high double pike. It did look like her foot was on the line. We did not see a flag. I'm not sure if she stepped out of bounds or not. But wow, the height on that double pike. And on the balance beam is Maya Davis. You see Maya setting up her flight series. I'm going to go back handspring step out to layout step out. Excellent. Back over to floor. Some more just really phenomenal tumbling. And off the balance beam, a ganger off the end of the beam for Maya Davis. For Samantha Wu. And excited about her routine, as she should be. That was Maya Davis on the floor exercise for Brown. The score is in for Cornell on bars. They unofficially have a team score of 47 flat. Their high score of the day came from a pair from Sydney Beers and Delilah Javeri with a 9.725. Excuse me, the high score was just Delilah Javeri with a 9.725. Next up on the floor in the anchor position for Brown is Julia Badal. Julia is our final competitor of the first rotation. We are in the first rotation out of 4, the Ivy Classic Championship. Over on balance beam, Penn has a team score unofficially of 48.925. Their high score of the rotation came from Mimi Fletcher with a 9.850. Take a look at Julia's floor routine for Brown. Gorgeous full in to start her routine. Great height on her leaps or her jumps. Some great dance. What I've noticed with this Brown team on the floor is their confidence in their dance. It's all very deliberate. It's very precise. Done very well. And a front tuck through to a round of handspring double tuck. Very difficult pass. And that was Julia Bedell for Brown on the floor exercise. And with those high fives, that completes our rotation 1. We're going to step aside. Lots of thrilling and excitement to cheer on these amazing gymnasts. We are in rotation 2. Top of our leaderboard with a 49.1 on the floor exercise. And then Penn right now is in second place, 48.925. Saw some very exciting gymnastics in the first round. The high score of rotation 1 came from Maya Davis over on floor for Brown, getting a 9.9. And now, heading into the second rotation, Brown is on vaults, Yale is on the uneven bars, Cornell is on the balance beam, and Penn is... Exercise. We have Emma Davies for Penn, balance beam, Savannah Coakley for the Big Red. And on Penn, she opens up with a great height on a double pike. Great dismount for the Big Red on the balance beam. And let's take a look at the vault. Brown is on vault in your upper right-hand box. This is Lauren Holt. Lauren is going to pause for a minute. Judges are deliberating. Let's take a look at bars. She's setting up for her release move. Nice height. Transitions down to the low bar. And a nice full pirouette that immediately goes into her dismount. And that was Lauren Holt on the bars for the Yale Bulldogs. And mounting the balance beam is Kate Michelini for the Big Red, which is in your lower right-hand box. Kate sets up her flight series. Back handspring step out into layout step out. Nicely done. Right into a switch leap and then a split leap and a switch half. And in your upper right-hand box, we have Lauren Liu vaulting. We have Jessica Lynn vaulting. Gorgeous body position, great height off the table and then also away from the table. And Lauren Liu is on the uneven bars. Great transitions from the low bar to the high bar and then back down. And in your bottom left-hand corner, on the floor exercise, Alicia Werlin. Alicia opens up with a double tuck. Great height, does have to take a pretty large step behind. Stayed in bounds though, that's good. Very fun choreography on floor. It's definitely capturing the fans in the stands and her teammates. And taking a look at your bottom left-hand corner, Natalia Tirani on beam for Cornell. And vaulting for Brown is Gabby Mutner. Gabby with your chink out, I'm going to say in tuck position. And on the uneven bars, Allie Cairns. Allie's going to start on the high bar. Right into a blind change. Great catch on her release move. She'll transition to the low bar. Nice little short on her handstand. Nice full pirouette that immediately goes into a double tuck dismount. And off the beam, a dismount, again off the end of the beam, a stuck solid dismount for the Big Red. And getting ready to vault for Brown, Umi Al-Maman. She is in your upper right-hand box. Just got the salute from the judge. There, your Chinko full. Nicely done. Up next on the balance beam is Morgan Shambo. And up next on the floor exercise is Manana Fofana. Manama taking the floor for the Quakers. She's going to open with a sky-high double back in pike position. Great way to start off her floor exercise. And then taking a look at the balance beam, Morgan Shambo just did a full turn. And she will set up her flight series, back handspring step out to layout, step out. Oh, it has to come off the balance beam. Let's take a look at bars. Your upper left hand box. Haley Kritz. Great transition down to the low bar. See Haley set up her dismount into a double layout. And that vault we just saw was from Sophia Dewar. And a great routine, floor routine for the Quakers. Taking a look at the dismount on the balance beam, another ganger off the end of the balance beam.
Next up, in the box, Chloe DeJoy.
And taking a look at your upper right-hand box, Chloe DeJoy. That is Julia Badal, vaulting for Brown. Chloe DeJoy is on the uneven bars for Yale. Take a look at this vault in your upper right-hand box. Great, your chink out full. And Marissa Lasite on the floor exercise for the Quakers. And Sydney Beers mounting the balance beam for the Big Red. Sydney starts with a cat leap to a front toss into a beat jump on the balance beam, that lower right-hand box. Taking a look at your lower left-hand box, Marissa setting up her next tumbling pass. A double pike position, great height, perfect control on her landing. Look at her teammates just giving her all that energy. Great height on her jumps. And taking a look at the bars. For Yale, this is Gigi Sabatini. perfect handstand. Those handstand positions are so important. And here we have that great angle to see if they're right on top. Like that one's just a little bit short. Nice full twisting into her. Double tuck dismount. Great stuck landing. All right, with those high fives, Yale has completed their bar rotation, although we'll be waiting on Gigi's score. Brown has finished their vault rotation. They have an unofficial team score of 48.025. Their high score of the rotation came from Sophia Delwar with a 9.7. Up next for the Big Red is Michaela Burton on balance beam. She's in your bottom right-hand box. Michaela's going to start with her full turn. On her flight series, a front aerial right into a side aerial. Very well executed. And then a switch leap right into a split jump. On top. And on the floor next for the Quakers, Skylar Carrico. A great round off 1.5 dismount on the bounce beam from Michaela Burton. Those high fives are going to finish off Cornell's rotation on the balance beam. This is Skylar Carrico having some fun with her choreography. Great height on her jumps. She sets up another tumbling pass. Round of handspring, double tuck. And that was Skylar Carrico on the floor for the Quakers. And Zara is going to anchor the Quakers on the floor exercise. This is Penn's second trip this season to Newman Arena here in Ithaca. There was a dual meet a few weeks ago between the Big Red and the Quakers. And here is Zara Zaya. front tuck through to a double pike. Excellent execution. She had great height, control in her landing. She's setting up for another tumbling pass. Round off back handspring, double pike. Again, exceptional height, control throughout the entire tumbling pass. And that was Zara Zaya for the University of Pennsylvania on the floor exercise. And with those hugs and high fives all around, our second rotation has concluded. As the gymnasts rotate to their third event, we're going to step aside here from Newman Arena in Ithaca, New York, on the gorgeous campus of Cornell University here in Ithaca, New York. We are halfway through the Ivy Classic Championship, which features the 4 Ivy League schools with NCAA women's gymnastics programs. They are the University of Pennsylvania, Brown University, Yale University, and Cornell University. Halfway through, we have Penn right now sitting on top of the leaderboard with a score of 98.05. Coming in second right now is Brown with a 97.125. Yale is with a 96.825, and Cornell with a 95.65. We have 2 rotations remaining. In the third rotation, we have Penn on vault. Brown is on the uneven bars. Yale is on the balance beam, and Cornell is on the floor exercise. The touch rotation is complete. Kate Michelini is going to start off the big red on the floor exercise. She's in your bottom left-hand box. Kate begins at routine with a double tuck. We're going to see some gorgeous leaps and jumps from Kate. She starts with a switch ring right into a switch half. And in your upper right-hand box, we have Marissa Lissette vaulting for the Quakers. On the balance beam, Gigi Sabatini. And on the bars, we have Daisy Fallon. Balance beam, we have a great flight series, back handspring step out to layout step out. And over on bars, we've had some great transitions from the high bar to the low bar. And that is Kate Michelini getting high fives from her teammates. Job well done for beginning the big red on the floor exercise. Take a look at this dismount on the balance beam. A round off 1.5 twists from Gigi Sabatini. Mounting the bars is Sophia Dalwar. Next, for the big red on the floor, Michaela DiFrancesco. And then taking your focus to the upper right-hand box, vaulting is Olivia Van Horn with a gorgeous front handspring, front vault, and pike position. The height she got off that table was just incredible. And take your focus to the upper left-hand box. This is Sophia Delwar for Brown on the uneven bars. Starts with a free hip hand, right into a release move, immediately down to the low bar. Great connection. Back up to handstand as she sets up her dismount. Double tuck. Look at that perfect stuck landing. Excellent bar routine. You can see they're excited. And Michaela opened up her floor routine with a double tuck. Getting ready to vault is Sienna Zuccaro. Another great vault for the Quakers. Taking a look at the balance beam in your bottom right-hand corner. A nice side aerial. And let's watch Michaela's final tumbling pass on the floor. Some beautiful front tumbling. Front full to front layout. And up next on the vault, for Penn, we have Mamana Fafana. If you take a look at your upper left-hand box on the uneven bars, Ella Tajini, who unfortunately missed her release move. Take a look at the vault, the upper right-hand box. Beautiful Yurchenko full laid out position. Excellent height off of the table. And Cami Whitaker is on the floor exercise for the big red. She's in your bottom left-hand box. Cami's going to open her routine with the front layout. Rudy into a double stag jump. Another unfortunate error on the bars. And take your attention to your upper right-hand box. Skylar Carrico vaulting for the Penn Quakers. fantastic vault. Just the height she gets off that vault. I've been saying it a lot today, but this Penn vaulting team really pushes off that vault, gets into the air so they have time to execute everything they want to. And then that landing was near perfect. Not quite a stuck landing, but it was very close. Excellent vault by Skylar Carrico. And if you take a look at your bottom right-hand box, this is Hannah Strauss on the balance beam for the Bulldogs. Hannah on the balance beam, setting up her flight series. She'll go backhand handspring step out to layout step out. Great execution. A nice front aerial immediately into a split jump. Some great jumps. And take your look, attention up to the upper right-hand box. Jordan Barrow on the vault for Penn in the anchor position. Wow, that was amazing. Everything about that vault. What a way to finish that rotation. That was Jordan Barrows with a near perfect vault. Great execution, perfectly stuck landing. And opening up her floor routine is Annie Rothstein for the Big Red. Up next on the uneven bars for Brown is Liza Marcus. Was talking to the head coach of Brown about pre-meet traditions, and she actually told me a fun fact about Eliza, who's up on bars, your upper left-hand box, is they have a question of the day that's led by her. She's a junior on the team. She does it every day during warm-ups and at practice, and it's just a fun way to loosen up and laugh a little bit. And she says the team is always mesmerized about how creative the questions are. Watch Eliza's bar routine. She transitions up to the high bar and then right back down to the low bar. Small form break. Right up to a handstand. Nice twist into immediately a double tuck dismount. And that round off 1.5 twist dismount we saw on the balance beam was from Haley Kuris. So Penn has finished their vault rotation. They have an unofficial score of 48.725. Their high score of the rotation came from Jordan Barrow with that 9.875. And if your focus is on the lower left-hand box, this is Josie Mullen on the floor exercise for Cornell. Josie's going to open with a Rudy to back layout. And on your upper left-hand box, on the bars, Maya Davis. Small balance air, balance check. Her toe point is absolutely exquisite. Through the entire routine, those toes were exceptionally well pointed. And finishing on the floor exercise was Julie Moland for the Big Red. Balance beam. Mounting the balance beam is Megan Brook for the Bulldogs in the anchor spot. Nice control in her full turn. And she's going to set up her flight series. Back handspring step out, layout step out. Nice front aerial. And if you look in your upper left-hand box, Avery Walters getting ready to mount the uneven bars for Brown. Avery setting up her release. Excellent execution. And in your bottom left-hand box, Sydney Beers in the anchor spot on the floor exercise for Cornell. Sydney, a second-year captain for the Big Red. She's going to open up with a round-off handspring double tuck. Exceptional height. Excellent execution in her jumps. Just looks like she was floating. Setting up her final tumbling pass. Punch front into round-off handspring double pike. Excellent landing. A great routine from Sydney Beers for the Big Red on the floor exercise. And with those high fives all around, our third rotation is complete. The gymnastics in the Ivy League. 4 schools have NCAA gymnastics programs, and we have them all here in Newman Arena. We are 3 rotations in out of 4. Our fourth and final rotation, we're going to see Cornell University on the vaults. Penn is on the uneven bars, Brown is on the balance beam, and Yale is finishing their meet on the floor exercise. Our third rotation, very exciting. We had Penn on the vault, team score of 48.725. Their high score of the rotation came from Jordan Barrow with a 9.875. Over on the uneven bars, Brown, unofficial team score of 48.5. Their high score of the rotation came from Avery Walters with a 9.75. Then over on the balance beam, we had the Yale Bulldogs. Team score of 48.95. Their high score of the rotation came from Ala Tajin with a 9.85. Oh, excuse me. Actually, Haley Kurtz, she had the high score of the rotation. She had a 9.875, just a little bit over Ella. And then over on the floor exercise, Cornell earning a team score of 49.025. Their high score of the rotation came from Sydney Beers with a 9.875. So 3 rotations in out of 4. And right now we have Penn sitting on top of the leaderboard. They have a combination score of 146.775. Next, we have Yale, the Yale Bulldogs with a 145.775. Then we have Brown with a 145.625. And then Cornell with a 144.675. While the teams are finishing their touch warm-up on their third and final event, we're going to step aside from Newman Arena for that Ivy Classic title. Competing today, we have the Yale University Bulldogs, the Brown University Bears, the University of Pennsylvania Quakers, and the Cornell University Big Red. It has been an exciting and very close matchup so far. Right now we have Penn sitting on top of the leaderboard. Brown is in second, Yale is in third, and Cornell is in fourth. Beginning this rotation, we have Cornell on the vaults. Penn is on the uneven bars. Brown is on the balance beam. And Yale is going to be on the floor exercise. Take a look at your upper right-hand box. Addie Rothstein starting off, leading off the Big Red on vault. Addie with her Yurchenko layout full. Nicely done. Great vault to begin the Big Red. And in your bottom left-hand box, that salute was from Hannah Strauss on the floor exercise for Yale. And if you take a look at your bottom right-hand box, we have Liza Marcus on the balance beam for Brown. And mounting the uneven bars is Carly O'Kinney. Great front tuck on the balance beam. Up on bars, you can see she's setting up her dismount. Double layout. Great beginning bar routine to begin the Quakers. And Cammie Whitaker vaulting for the Big Red, your upper right-hand box. Cammie with her Yurchenko layout full. Nicely done. Knees are bent. Not sure if that's going to be a layout position or a tuck position. We'll see what the judges think about that. And that was Hannah Strauss finishing her floor routine for the Yale Bulldogs. Up next on the bars, your upper left-hand box is Marissa Laster for Penn. Over on the vault is Delilah Javari. On the floor exercise is Gigi Sabatini. And on the balance beam is Gianna Mortaco. Take a look at the balance beam, bottom right-hand box. Gianna sets up her flight series, back handspring step out, layout step out, has to jump off the beam. Take a look at the beginning of this floor routine by Gigi Sabatini. Gigi opens with a double tuck. Excellent execution. Take a look in the upper left-hand box up on the bars. Great flow between the bars, keeping the rhythm, keeping the pace. Right into her dismounts. Look at that landing. Great bar routine for the Quakers. Some beautiful front tumbling on the floor exercise. And take a look at your upper right-hand box. Michaela DiFrancesco for the Big Red. Michaela with her Luchenko layout half. Nicely executed. And up next on the bars, your upper left-hand box, Sophia Paris for Penn. Take a look at Sophia's routine. He transitions up to the high bar and then right back down to the low bar, hitting that handstand position. It's excellent. A little bit of a struggle into that shoulder, right into her dismounts. And it was Sophia Paris on the uneven bars. Taking a look at your lower left-hand box on the balance beam for Brown is Lindsay Van Elk. And on the floor exercise, your bottom left-hand box is Allie Kierans. Vaulting for the Big Red, your upper right-hand box, Sydney Beers. Sydney with your Yurchenko layout full. Again, explosive power off that vault. Take a look at the front tumbling. Excellent front tumbling on the floor exercise from Megan Bruck. And Jordan Barrow mounting the bars for Penn. He's in your upper left-hand box. Great handstand position. Right into a release, right back down to the low bar. Oh, gorgeous handstand. And into her dismount, a double tuck. Small step on her landing. That was Jordan Barrow on the bars for the Quakers. And take a look at Sarah Goter on the vault for the Big Red, your upper right-hand box. Sarah with a Yurchenko layout, half. Excellent vault for the Big Red. And let's take a look at the balance beam. Bottom right-hand box. Lay a handspring, step out to layout, step out. Excellent execution. And on the floor exercise for Yale is Ellie Kearns. Beautiful dismount on the balance beam from Brown. And over to the uneven bars, Zara Zydek. Double tuck dismount. Some gorgeous tumbling on the floor exercise. And let's take a look at the balance beam. We have Jessica Lynn. And if you heard all that excitement and cheering from the balance beam, it was well deserved. That was Emily Ford, the routine before, with a 9.9. And mounting the bars for the Quakers, Skylar Carrico. Beautiful handstands. Toe point, her legs are glued together. Just paying attention to every possible detail. Getting some power to set up her dismount. Wow, what a routine. That was fantastic. That was Skylar Carrico on the uneven bars for the Quakers. And over to the floor exercise, Chloe DeJoy. See this tumbling pass on floor. Round off 1.5 to punch front layout. Beautifully executed. And that was Chloe DeJoy on the floor for the Bulldogs. On balance beam right now, Avery Walters. See Avery's dismount here, round off 1.5 twist dismount. Another excellent routine from the Brown Bears. And our final competitor for the rotation is going to be on the floor for the Yale Bulldogs, Alla. Alla's going to open with a double pike. Has to take a pretty large step backwards. Otherwise, well executed. Alla, it's a front tumbling. Going to finish her routine with a double tuck. And that was Alla Kajan on the floor exercise for the Yale Bulldogs. And with that ending of the routine, that concludes rotation 4 in Ithaca, New York. Today, we had a very exciting matchup of women's collegiate gymnastics. We had the 4 Ivy League schools with gymnastics program here in Newman Arena, and wow, it did not disappoint. In the first rotation, we had big scores coming in from Maya Davis over on the floor exercise for Brown with a 9.9. That routine was spectacular. Over on the balance beam, Mimi Fletcher with a 9.850. And then some other spectacular scores from the first rotation came from Addie Rothstein on the uneven bars for Cornell with a 9.6. And over Yale on vault came from Lauren Burt with a 9.725. Rotation 2 also didn't disappoint. Some high scores there. We had Zara Zydek from On Penn on the floor exercise with a 9.875. Execution in her tumbling passes was phenomenal. Then over on the balance beam, a high score from Michaela Burton with a 9.825. Her attention to detail in her execution was absolutely phenomenal. Yale also putting up some great scores on the uneven bars. Lauren Liu with a 9.8. The height on her release moves were just fantastic. And then on the vault, Brown had a great day on vaults. Their high score came from Sophia Delwar with a 9.7. As we rotated to the third event, again, big scores and big gymnastics that didn't disappoint. Penn, Skylar's Carrico on the vault with a 9.825, and then Jordan Barrow followed that up with a 9.875. We had Yale over on the balance beam, and Haley Kurtz with a 9.875. Her execution in her jumps, flawless. So straight legs, toe point was just exquisite. Also to mention is Ella Tajan on balance beam for Yale with a 9.850. So a great day on beam for Yale. Brown was over on the bars in the third rotation. They had some great scores. Actually, a 9.750 came from Avery Walters. And then Cornell was over on the floor exercise. And Josie Mullen with a 9.8, Sydney Beers with a 9.875. Should have seen the height in her tumbling passes. Just incredible. And then rounding out the fourth rotation, did not disappoint. Brown over on the balance beam was phenomenal. They put up a 9.9. Emily Ford with a 9.9. And then Jessica Lynn with a 9.8. Avery Walters with a 9.875. Great beam scores for Brown. Hard to finish up your meet on balance beam, but they did it with ease. Yale was over on the floor to conclude their meet. Gigi Sabentini with a 9.850, and also Chloe DeJoy with a 9.85. Just fantastic floor routines. Penn was over on the uneven bars. And Skylar Carrico, again, those release moves, just fantastic. And the ease and the consistency and the rhythm of her bar routine was just fantastic. Cornell finished up their meet on the vault exercise. Sydney Beers put up a 9.8. She had phenomenal execution, the height off her table, the distance from her landing. It was absolutely fantastic. So all this gymnastics, it put Penn up on top of the leaderboard with a 195.375. Brown, second place with a 194.80. Yale, barely missing that second place mark. They're in third with a 194.775. And then Cornell finishing out their meet with a 192.875. So we had a great day of gymnastics here in Newman Arena, where we are also celebrating 50 years of women's championships in the Ivy League. So the energy in here was just fantastic. Really great to celebrate these student athletes and what they've done, all their accomplishments. We are waiting for awards to begin. As we prepare for awards, we're going to step aside from Newman Arena. Gymnastics here in Newman Arena. Out of the 8 Ivy League schools, 4 have women's gymnastics programs, and today all 4 of them came together in one arena for the Ivy Classic Championships. The teams competing today were the Yale Bulldogs, Brown Bears, the Cornell Big Red, and the Penn Quakers. And as awards are beginning, we're going to go to our floor camera to get a better shot of these awards.
officials in today's meet. This meet marks the final Ivy Championship for all of these women. They worked hard on making their mark in Ivy Gymnastics for years to come. Our seniors are from Brown, Julia Bedell, Maya Davis, and Addie Liebhardt. From Cornell, Sydney Beers, Savannah Coakley, Laura McKenzie, Kate Michaelini, Maddie Sekulowski, and Thea Spirko, and Maddie Wolf. From Penn, Emma Davies, Miracle Garrett, Zara Dazzler, Isabel Song, and Olivia Van Horn, and Isabella Garrett. And from Yale, Oren Aviad, Nadia Tratal, and Claire Q. And now for the awards. First of all, time for sixth, with a score of 9.7, from Brown, Sophia Noir. From Penn, Olivia Van Horn. From Cornell, Sarah Gardner. From Yale, Lauren, and in fifth place, with a score of 9.725, from Yale, Lauren Burt. And in fourth place, with a score of 9.75, from Penn, Manama Fofana. And in third place, from Cornell, with a score of 9.8, Sydney Pierce. And in third place, with a score of, or in second place, with a score of 9.825, from Penn, Skylar Carrico. And in first place, with a score of 9.875 on ball, from Penn, Jordan Farrell. And your top 6 finalists on balls. finishers on uneven bars. In sixth, with a score of 9.7. From Brown, Iowa Davis. Also in sixth, from Brown, Liza Marcus. In sixth, for Penn, Sophia Paris. And our last competitor in sixth, from Yale, Lauren Holt. Finishing time for fifth, with a score of 9.725. From Brown, Sophia Dumont. From Penn, Marissa Lassner. And for Cornell, Dalia Javeri. And in fourth, with a score of 9.75. From Brown, Avery Walters. From Penn, Zara Yazdan. And from Yale, Chloe DeJoy. In third, with a score of 9.775. From Yale, Lily Acorn. And in second, with a score of 9.8, from Yale, Lauren Liu. And your Uneven Bars champion with a 9.875, from Penn, Skylar Karakov. Let's hear one more time for your top six finishers on Uneven Bars. And for the balance team, time for six with a score of 9.775, from Brown, Liza Marcus. From Penn, Jordan Barrow. Tied for fifth with a score of 9.8, from Brown, Jessica Lynn. And from Penn, Samantha Wu. And tied for fourth with a score of 9.825 from Brown, Lindsay and Ivy. And from Cornell, Michaela Burton. Tied for third with a score of 9.85 from Penn, Lee Fletcher. And from Yale, Ella Cashin. Tied for second with a score of 9.875 from Brown, Avery Walters. And from Yale, Amy Chris. And your champion on the balance beam with a score of 9.9 from Brown, Emily Ford. Zero, one more time for your top six finishers on balance beam. Top six finishers on the floor exercise. Tied for sixth with a 9.775 from Brown, Julia Bell. From Penn, Alicia Worley. From Cornell, Eddie Rusty. Also from Cornell, Cammy Whitaker. From Yale, Ella Cashew. And also from Yale, Hannah Strauss. And in fifth place, with a score of 9.8 from Penn, Marissa Lassner. From Cornell, Josie Boylan. Also from Cornell, Michaela DiFrancisco. And in fourth place, with a score of 9.825 from Penn, Skylar Kirko. Tied for third place with a score of 9.85 from Brown, Liza Marcus. Also from Brown, Avery Walters. From Penn, Ana Fufana. From Yale, Chloe DeJoy. And also from Yale, Gigi Sabatini. Tied for second place with a score of 9.875 from Penn, Sarah Asden. And from Cornell, Sydney Pierce. Your champion of the floor exercise with a score of 9.9 from Brown, Maya Day. Your top 6 finishers on the floor exercise. And in the all-arounds, in third place, from Cornell, the score of 38.15, Sydney Pierce. In second place, with a score of 38.7, from Penn, Marissa Lassiter. And your all-around champion with a score of 39.275 from Penn, Skylar Carrico. Your top 3 finishers in the all-around. And now for the team results. In fourth, with a score of 192.875, your Cornetta Big Red. In third place, with a score of 194.775, Yale Bulldogs. In second place, with a score of 194.8, from your team from Brown. And your Iowa Classic champions with a score of 195.75